What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Natty Baps here for another video. We're recapping the NFL Divisional Round playoffs. Man, there were four good games. Three and a half good games. Shabazz is going to be here. He is running late. Traffic, New York, train, bus, all that extra stuff. So he will be here soon. So I will be recapping the other three games because obviously we want to hear from the man, the myth himself, as he talks about his Ravens winning. Before we begin talking about anything else, please like the video, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get right, y'all. Let's get right. It's calm. It's an icy Tuesday and a foggy Tuesday night here in South Bend. So hopefully, you guys are vibing wherever you are. And again, my camera shakes a lot, so I'm sorry if that bothers people. Firstly, so I'm wearing a Mahomes jersey. So it would be apropos to start with that game, but I do want to hear Shabazz's thoughts on that game as well. So we're going to start with the other games, and then hopefully by the time we're done with that, Shabazz will be here. So starting off, we're going to start off with the Saturday night game, the first of the NFC matchups, which was the Niners versus the Packers. The Packers, they advanced to the NFC title game despite Purdy selling for 3 quarters. That is not a typo. Brock Purdy, for all intents and purposes, was bad. He was missing throws. Yeah, he had a few cute key throws to George Kittle and Ayuk. Deebo Samuel had a shoulder injury, so his availability for Sunday is up in the air. He's probably gonna play. There's a chance of playing the Super Bowl. Of course, you're gonna try to play, but so. But we're back. So we'll talk about the Niners first. Okay. So the Niners, right? The MVP of that team is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is a man amongst boys. He 2 touchdowns rushing. He had the basically after the first quarter, it was all Christian McCaffrey. Actually, after the second half. Second half was Christian McCaffrey. Late third, early fourth, they ran the ball. I ain't gonna lie. Brock Purdy did make key throws and key moments during that final drive to take the lead. But on the Niners side, you have to be concerned with Brock Purdy. You have to be. Out of the 8 quarterbacks that played, right, considering the defenses that they played, Brock Purdy was the worst by far. He was the worst. Now, again, the person he faced, his opponent, was Jordan Love, who had 2 bad interceptions. Well, one wasn't his fault, was tips and overthrows, and the other one was just a bad decision of a crossbody, thinking he's Brett Favre. But Brock Purdy missed a lot of throws, and he should have had a pick 6 on his record. Again, we don't live in a world of woulda, coulda, shouldas, so it didn't happen. Brock Purdy sold for 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, he came alive and made it happen. So it's kind of the inverse of another guy we'll talk about, Josh Allen, right? You had great 3 quarters, and in the fourth quarter, kind of like LeBron, you disappeared. But inversely, we talk about the Niners-Packers game, right? Niners take care of business when it mattered most. Their defense was bending a lot, but didn't break. Aaron Jones had over 100 yards rushing as a team. I think they ran for $180 something, which is the only time that's happened was the Ravens game. So it's kind of one of those. It's like, are the cracks starting to show? Is Chase Young worth that trade that you did earlier in the middle of the season? He hasn't really produced as that trade piece that you like. Oh, boom, we needed Chase Young, and now we're over the top. Like Keon Bosa and then Chase Young has been meh at moments. That's just been bad overall. Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw, in terms of linebacking duos, is the best in the NFC. Yeah, you see, it's the best in the NFC. For those who when I was a Ravens fans, what about Patrick Queen? What about okay, duh. But they're gonna need to step the fuck up and lock the fuck in. But that all starts with the quarterback, Brock Purdy. He has to be the one to step in and lock in, because if he doesn't and he's missing throws in 3 quarters, this Lions team that he's about to face can score in bunches. So if you're getting into a shootout with the Lions, I trust Detroit. I trust Detroit in a shootout-ish kind of game like that was on Sunday for them. I trust it to be if it's 35-30, like and just keep back and forth, no defense played. Detroit's used to that kind of thing. Detroit's used to having a fast-paced game where they have to keep scoring no matter what. The San Francisco 49ers, they can score. There's kind of the difference between like, what's the difference between a scorer and like a guy who can score? Like a guy who's a 3-point shooter or a guy who could shoot threes. No, yeah, he can do it. Like DeMar DeRozan, right? He can shoot threes. But his game is he can score. KD is one of the best scorers of all time. But he's not necessarily a 3-point shooter. Same thing with this Brock Purdy 49ers offense. They can score at will, getting pick sixes, just running up the score on bad teams. But if they're getting into a shootout where that offense has to perform and match band for band, I'm concerned. I truly am concerned for the Niners' sake. Now we're gonna talk about tomorrow's game and all that stuff. But for now, I'll leave it with the Packers. Missing a kick should have came down to that. As Shabazz pulls up to the spot, you feel me? He's here now. We're gonna talk. He's gonna talk his shit next in a second. But I want to wrap up with the Niners game, talking about the Packers. So your Packers, you're 10.5 point dogs at closing. You had no business in this game, and you kind of potentially gave the blueprint for your division rival to beat this same Niners team. I'm not saying, oh damn, you made the playoffs and you want to claim so hold. I'm genuinely saying, hold your heads up high. You bust your ass, and it was bad for 8 weeks. Since week 9, arguably you had the best quarterback in the league. Arguably. Oh man, we didn't get it done. Yes, he did have bad picks. He had a bad decision making. He had a kicker miss a kick. But you have a guy who's cheap for now. He's probably going to get extended, but a young squad who's only going to get better. For all intents, but you had no business in that game, and you were winning from basically almost wire to wire. If you make that field goal and force Brock Purdy to have to go down and score a touchdown, who knows what actually happened? Now he did score a touchdown, but who knows what would have happened? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it didn't happen. Hold your head up high. I talked to my Packers friend Kovacs. Hey, he's sad, yes, because it's like, damn, it's over. But like, hold your head up high, retool, rebuild, and get ready for next year as probably, I don't know about the division favorite, but favorite to make the playoffs, probably like, hey, maybe minus 120 to make the playoffs in a weak NFC. Who knows? But Shabazz is here. So
it was good, yeah.
I actually have to go pick up my food. So perfect timing.
Timing, all about timing. So what's good? Before we talk about my Ravens, obviously gotta talk about that. I do want to get my insight on the 49ers and Packers game. Bro, 49ers got lucky. But sometimes it's rather be lucky than good sometimes. Brock Purdy was trash. Naturally he was like going in on him. And I completely agree. Like, bro, you can't be sorry for 3 quarters and then magical in the 4th and just think like, oh, like all that pressure is gone. Nah. Like Nick Wright, he's like the one, well, him and Ryan Clark and Colin Coward, whatever. But one of the main things that Nick Wright says, like, you gotta have a comeback. If you're playing well and like you made some mistakes here and there, you get some 3 and outs, and the team just keeps on scoring, and then you gotta come back, that's something. But if you're causing if you're the reason why the team has to come back, you're bad play, you're underthrowing throws, your hands too small, so you can't really grip the ball, and you're playing your bad play caused the Packers to be in the game. You honestly should have blew them out. And your defense sold you. And I'm gonna attribute that to Russ. I think Russ played a huge factor in you guys' game. Similar to ours, when I'll talk about that real quick after this. Like this, even like it was like a longer rest though. Like McCaffrey, I think Debo not being there, I think he got injured in like the first quarter. So him not being there definitely is like a huge chunk of your offense design out. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like you gotta like make it work. You got to make it work. There was a lot of tomorrow against Detroit. Like Nacho said, you got to run up the score. You got to go. You got to go band for band because a team like Detroit, when they got a sizable lead on you, they can and they want to run the ball. So that's less opportunities. That means the more panicking, the more you're panicking, and then it's boom. So good luck, San Francisco. Good luck. If you're the Packers, you're like, damn, but Nacho said it best. Hold your heads up high because you wasn't even supposed to be here. You were supposed to get spanked by the Cowboys. You upset them, and you sent them home. That was an early Christmas. That was an early New Year gift to everybody. And then you hung around, and you miss it. You make a kick, then they gotta put the pressure back on them and to score, and then go to overtime, and who knows what happens then. But hey, you did it. You did it. You had a good season. Good job. But now, the reason why natural, I'm glad I got a good partner because I was handling some business. I was like, oh, I might be a little late. I might miss it, but if I don't miss it, talk about the Ravens last. But I made it, so you can talk about the Ravens now. My Ravens, man, we handled business in the second half. That first half, I'm gonna definitely give that to the rust factor because we ain't playing like the starters ain't playing like 2 weeks. Like that's a long time without getting that contact in football. That's a long time. And you get the practice reps, you can practice all and what you want intensely, whatever, but nothing as good as getting the pads and like getting that true work in against an opponent who's trying to take your spot. Like that's the difference. But I was glad that we had the rest. Mark Andrews is getting healthier. He might play this week. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But first half, I was nervous, especially after that punt return. In this league, it's all about momentum. Like that kind of thing, like kills your momentum and gives the Texans that type of momentum to like really like hold it down. But then Lamar gave that look. When he was leaving, going to the locker room, he gave that look. He cursed motherfuckers out. And then they locked in the second half. Like we scored 24 unanswered points in the second half. Defense played exceptional the whole game. There was no rust at all. Offense, we picked it up and we matched the energy. Like Lamar said it best. They did our job because like our defense was playing amazing, but our offense was like slacking. Like that's not okay. You got to hold it down. So defense held it down, kept us in the game, and then our offense eventually just like, all right, let's run the ball. Let's do shit. Convert third downs. We were terrible in the first half of third downs, which kept getting the Texans the ball again and again and again. But our defense held it down and weren't able to capitalize on that. And plus, our home field is underrated. They kept getting full starts. They kept getting like offensive line penalties and shit. Delay a game. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I was hyped. We need that same energy this week against Kansas City. But then Lamar, man. The criticism of Lamar was like, oh, you can't, but he never had a good playoff game and all that. Not that he couldn't win a game, because he's won a game before. That's not the narrative. The narrative was like he didn't have a good playoff game and a win. Like he needed to do both. And man, they do it. He didn't do much in the arm game, and that's okay. The Texans was probably playing the pass. Bro, he was so wide open in the hole was wide open on numerous occasions. Like, bro, they playing the pass that much. He's going to take care of business. 100 yards on the ground, 150 through the air, 4 total touchdowns. Hey, let's get that. I would love to see more like in the passing game. That's why we got Tom Munkin. But I got to shout out the Texans. Like they actually played the pass well, so he couldn't do all the time. Like this season, Lamar has grown so much in his decision making, where he's not second guessing anything. If he looks, he scans, and if it's not there, he's gone. He's gonna make something happen and try to get a little bit of yo, bro. My boy Elkoof. Yo, bro, our fan base is wild, man. Fan base is amazing. But I'm happy that we got the win. Shout out to CJ Stroud. He's gonna be a dude for. I'm glad we got him now because he has the mindset, he has the grit, and he has that dog in him where like they young, they got a lot of cap space, bro. They're gonna load up and capitalize on this once in a lifetime type of talent that they have, and they're gonna try to make something work for next season and the seasons after that. But for us, we got the monkey off our back. Now I don't know why I got a thumbs down now, but we got the monkey off our back. Let's parlay that. Let's get another one. And who better than to do it against than that man Patrick Mahomes? So let's go out. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. Luck, hopefully. I got some other business to take care of. So hopefully I'll be here for tomorrow. But if not, you already know who I'm rocking with. Ravens flock. You know what to do. We beat this motherfucker Patrick Mahomes. But we're in a can't lose situation. We're in the can't, like, bro, we lose. All right. It's the Chiefs. Like, it's the greatest quarterback of the generation. All right, we get it. But if we win, though, I win $20. I won $20. I get vindication from my boy Joseph, who was like, Lamar's not that guy. And 3, we could beat anybody out the NFC. We could beat them. Believe that. We spanked Detroit and we spanked the San Francisco 49ers. So, feel me? Those 3 things smells a Super Bowl for my Ravens. So, let's go.
Real quick, Elko, my brother, what anime convention was there? What's your favorite anime? Top 5 anime. Put them in the chat. Where? Because I want to hear. We talk about we anime heads as well. It used to be we branded to speak mainly about football, but it used to be an anime and football show. So, Elko, appreciate you. Yo, put us on to the game. What animes you watching right now? Where?
Watch that Solo Leveling, man.
Overall, you said it best. Everything you said was fire in terms of accurate. First half, could blame Russ, could just blame, not being ready. That's fine. Lamar Jackson, for all intents and purposes, like in terms of players on divisional round weekend, was the best.
Yep.
Like he showed, okay, this is why I'm MVP. Like, yes, my passing yards aren't always going to be extravagant. He had like 160-ish, 150-ish. But it's the dual threat ability. It's being able to take over a game by running the ball. He had 100 yards even on the ground. Like, which kind of pissed me off because I needed him to have a little bit more passing yards because I needed him to have like a combo of rushing and passing. But it's all right. It's all right. I'm always one prop short. And all my bets, I've been one prop short, so I'm kind of pissed off about it. But it's here there. Look, there. I have tomorrow's show. I have so many things for ammunition that I found on Twitter, man. It's gonna be a good terms in terms of like my prediction and who I'm picking and all that good stuff. Texans, everything you said, I really don't have any thoughts. You said everything about this game perfectly. I have no thoughts in terms of, oh man, what about that? No, Mark Andrews potentially comes back, which brings another boost of morale. His absence, I will say this, and people have mentioned it but haven't really spoke about it. Mark Andrews is an all-pro caliber tight end. But, this can be true. He's an all-pro caliber tight end and the best weapon that Lamar Jackson has. The other true statement is that his presence makes Lamar Jackson, made him weak.
Yeah.
So let me divulge that for those who don't know why I said that. So Mark Andrews, like I said, is the first team All-Pro caliber guy. He has been first team All-Pro. It probably was on track to be at least second team All-Pro this year. But when you have a guy like that, and a guy who's so young in Lamar, he's only 26. You have a guy who's so young. You're trying to, you have a safety blanket. Say, the best thing for a young quarterback is tight ends and running game. That's what they always say. You're having a guy like Mark Andrews who's so good, you're like, okay, cool, I trust him. And that means you press the issue. Why did you lose to Cleveland earlier in the year? Because you kept forcing the ball to Mark Andrews and defense adapts. His absence made Isaiah Likely have to step up, made OBJ have to step up. Zay Flowers has been a dog his rookie year and have to make Lamar trust other people. Now, Lamar Jackson has a confidence that he can throw to anybody on his team and they're going to make a play for him.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, Mark Andrews coming back. Yes, that's a safety blanket, but he's now just the true definition of a safety blanket of, oh, when everything else fucks up, I got Mark Andrews. But let me do a deep shot to OBJ for 15 yards. Let me do a quick drag route to Zay Flowers, who's going to take it to the crib potentially. The weapons of Baltimore this time around are night and day different. And on paper, they probably go band for band with that 2012 team. Because you have the 2012 team.
Oh yeah, that we won. Yeah, bro.
Like you had guys who were speedsters and Jacoby Jones and Zay Flowers, right? You have guys who are possession receivers and Torrey Smith and OBJ. And you have other guy complementary pieces as well. And then
Anquan and Bateman, yeah, you know.
So I would overall, just hey, I'm not starting an argument. I'm not starting a debate. I'm not saying anything like that. But they always say, hey, what team is better, the 2017 Chiefs or the 2021 Chiefs? Like, when you guys win, I would love to have that exercise of let's go band for band and talk about the two teams. The quarterback is already better than the 2012 team. But I digress. Now, Lions advance to NFC title games for the first time since 1991. To put that into perspective, me and Shabazz was born in 97. So they hadn't won a playoff game since 91. They hadn't been to a title game since 91. We are 97 babies. That's 6 years before we were born. That's 32 years ago in terms of season. Now 32, 33, the numbers get fuzzy. Point is, the Lions advanced by beating the Bucks 31-23. Baker Mayfield had a lot of passing yards, but he had key picks. First one, not really his fault. Second one, forcing an issue, trying to get a touchdown. And literally, like the second play of the drive, just the linebacker reads him and boom, picks him off. They had a thing on first things first of like how impressed were you with Baker? I wouldn't say like, oh my god, like he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. No, not in that but he kept getting hit a lot. Detroit Lions pass rush, probably due to the bad offensive line blocking for they just kept blitzing him and at key situations and kept getting home. Baker Mayfield stood up, and as much as I hate Mike Evans, the person, I gotta respect him as a player. He had like a $150, a tutty. Like he was like single-handedly, basically him and Kate Otten were trying to will this team to win. And it was back and forth for a while. And just like I said with the Niners game, like if you can't go band for band with Detroit, you're gonna have some issues because Detroit will score.
Mm-hmm.
They will score. Now they're on the road on Sunday. We'll talk about again predictions and preview all that stuff tomorrow. But for the Bucks, yeah, cool. It's 10-10. It's 17-17. And then it's 24-17. And then you don't score. And then they score again. It becomes 31-17. And now you're pressing. And now you're like freak because every time we score, they just go down the field and score again. And they have the propensity to run the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs, a dog, had, I think, over 100 yards from scrimmage. He was awesome. And Amon-Ra, the sun god himself, Sam Laporta-Patio. Again, that Lions team, man, they got something that a lot of people don't have. They have a quality quarterback at this position leading the ship and a coach that believes in him. And they got weapons up the ass. I haven't mentioned, this is not Craig Reynolds. Josh Reynolds?
I think it is Craig Reynolds.
No, Craig Reynolds scored a touchdown by running it in. But Josh Reynolds, the number 8, he kept just getting open like all the time and just kept getting like multiple yards. 15 yards, 20 yards, 15, 20. And then I was like, damn. Like, at some point, like, guard this man. Let's say you switch your attention to him. I love Detroit. I love what they're doing. I love the fact that they did it at home. I love like this, and some people say, Detroit, that Darren Orlovsky is like, hey, they've needed this. Like Michigan as a whole has been going through a kind of a renaissance. How bad the Pistons have been, and how trash if they've been. It's nice to see that football they have, like something going for them in terms of Michigan winning the national title and Detroit Lions in the playoffs and the NCAA title game. And the line, and spoiler, the line is 7. The line is 7 right now. Lions covering.
That's a fact.
Now, will they go outright win and stuff like that? We'll talk about it tomorrow. But there's no real analysis for this game. It's just pure happiness. It's pure happiness and just, for a team that I don't even like. We were fans of them since last year when we made our picks and stuff like that. We wanted them in the playoffs last year. Them not getting in the playoffs last year probably was one of the best things that happened to them. Because they know that, hey, we gotta keep winning. We can't have bad losses. And yes, losing to Baltimore is not a bad loss. How you lose, not showing up, yes, but how being able to learn from that experience. You were on the road against one of the best teams in the league, and you were unprepared for the physicality. Use that as fuel and knowledge to prepare you for this Sunday, because you're going against a team. As much as we don't trust Brock Purdy, we trust everybody else on that team in terms of physicality. So we'll talk about it. We'll preview it and all that good stuff tomorrow. But I'm just straight up happy for Detroit. I'm happy for their city. I'm happy for this team. And obviously, as an NFC South guy who hates the Niners because they freaking suck and stole a lot of joy and happiness from me a lot of last playoff years, or just overall, go ahead and kick some ass, man. Go kick some ass, man. So go ahead, Shabazz. I know I kind of try to wrap up a lot, but I couldn't know where to stop. But go ahead.
First of all, this week make the conspiracy. Okay? The color conspiracy, the red and purple, like break that. Go Detroit, especially if Debo don't play. Is GG's in the chat. I'm not Jack. And Ayuk is. I told you that boy Ayuk nice. Told you that boy nice. All pro. That's my guy. But nah. Lions took care of business. Nip and tuck in a little bit. I hear myself. I was like, oh, what the hell?
My bad, bro. My bad. I have the show on my phone.
Yeah. So there's no really commentary about this game. Like it went how you expected it to go. Like I didn't expect Baker to throw 2 picks, but I didn't expect. I thought the Bucks was going to blitz more. Like I thought they was going to blitz. I thought they were going to do the Lions like they did the Eagles. Like they just kept blitzing them, and like the Texans did us. Like they kept blitzing us. And then you gotta have Lamar make those quick decisions. Like that's pretty much how you can contain the Lions. Now the 49ers, they have that potential to just like dog you, but they have a great offensive line, bro. They'll run gaps that they were having before Montgomery and Gibbs. It was insane. The Gibbs is better. Low key, Gibbs might be better than Bijan. It might be crazy. They took too long to utilize him, which kind of cost them some of the games early in the season. But once they started using him more and got him rolling, he's been awesome. He's been awesome for them. Like that's what whoever the Falcons' future coach is, lean into that. Lean into having your high draft pick running back. Lose him. The hell's wrong with you? So shout out to him. Laporta, he's a dog. He's battling through a lot right now, especially with the knee. It can give out any moment, but he's like, I'm fighting. If it goes out, it goes out. But I'm not playing. And when it was looking like a little pressure, a little bleak there for a second. Old reliable, on the sun god, all pro. You know what I mean? Like he just give him the rock and he'll make things happen for you. So for me, shout out to the Lions, man. That whole team is just awesome. I hope they can make it to the Super Bowl, but if not, this is the best season they ever had. in certainly our lifetimes. Dan Orlovsky was trolling the Cowboys. He's like, yo, they was 0-16 at one point. They were a laughing stock franchise at one point. But they still made it to an NFC championship game before the Cowboys did. That's nuts. That's insane. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. And finally, Chiefs upset the Bills to advance to their sixth straight AFC title game.
Upset.
Man, listen. Tom, if you're watching this, I gotta go off on your team, bro. Trade Diggs away. Trade him away. Get him out of there. He's not as much of a brother that is to Josh Allen. Ever since you fired your OC and went to Joe Brady, Joe Burt, or whoever, bro, you have not utilized this man. So what's the point of having him if you're not going to use him? What's the point of having this freak athlete in Josh Allen if you're not going to have him use his talents? You have restrained him so much into not making the mistake when he makes the mistake anyway. So next season, let him ride. Let it ride, man. Let it go. Let him go off how he wants to go off. And if he throws 2 picks, 3 picks, they call him the young Favre, right? They call him the young Favre was always throwing picks, but he always made a play at the same time. Hey, channel into that because he's slowly turning into Phillip Rivers. I'm not going to lie. Extremely talented, crazy arm, has some solid teams, but can never get it done. That's the definition. And ironically, wears number 17. Ironically, that's so instead of Brett Favre trying to chase, you low key chasing Phillip Rivers. All these stats, all these yards, all these touchdowns. Oh my God, so amazing! But he was always the 4th guy. So right now, you can't beat Mahomes. You can't beat Burrow. And Lamar won 2 MVPs, been 2 All Pros. You haven't been to an All Pro nor a Pro Bowl. I think 1 Pro Bowl in your career. Phillip Rivers. So until you got to shape up, you got to be like Ryan Clark. And everyone's coming at Ryan Clark for what he said. Bro, I completely agree with what Ryan Clark said. At some point, if it was anyone else, they would have cared. Oh, he couldn't get it done. He didn't get it done. If that was Lamar, they would like. If let's say like not this year because he made it to the championship game, but like if he had lost to the Texans, everyone would have roasted him. They would have eviscerated this man. But yet he got it done. Mahomes got it done. You know, Purdy didn't give him the credit. I'm not either, but he got it done. You not getting it done. You the one that Vegas is calling the MVP. You the one that the ESPN and if he plays well and they go into the playoffs, can he be the no? No, you are extremely talented, but you're not great yet. You're not great. The media wants you to be great. You're the poster boy, but you're not great. That Madden curse hit. Pain, depression, sadness. Buffalo Bills fans, yo. It's tough. You want to chase the perfection. You want to chase the big play all the time when you had Diggs on a check down. You have the strongest arm in the league. Arguably, probably you and Justin Herbert. But yeah, you always want to flaunt it. Look at Mahomes. He has a strong arm, but he doesn't do it all the time. He doesn't do it all the time. He knows when to do it, when not to do it. You always want to like that's not okay. That's not good. Their defense was injured and battered. I get it. But you was going band for band with Mahomes. You had the lead. Then what? You sold the bag. McDermott showed the bag, which he should be fired. I'm not going to lie. You lucky Tyler Bass missed the kick. Bailed him out. Because that fake punt in your own territory is terrible. Terrible. You got bailed out because McCole Harmon fumbled into the touchback. Bailed out. Diggs got to go. Bob Miller, you paid him all this bread. He had no sacks and like 14 tackles the whole season. Maybe less than that. Like, bro, that's nuts. Your team is old. You got people who are gonna come back from injury, not be the same. Your windows closing up, bro. Yo, your windows closing up. Like, I'm pretty sure you're gonna talk about the Chiefs side. I have nothing to say about the Chiefs side. They made the plays when they needed to make the plays, and I'm ready for that to come to Baltimore. But then Deion Dawkins was like, "Yo, good luck. Come to Buffalo." Last time it was no fans there, but yet, bro, I gotta know not to talk shit to folks, especially those of the upper echelon of all-time quarterbacks. You don't talk shit to Brady. You don't talk shit to Peyton. You don't talk shit to Montana. And you don't talk shit to Mahomes. That's the big four. Those are the four best quarterbacks of all time. You don't do it because he beat you, and then he's out here. He's getting snowballs thrown at him, and he's just happy as a kid because he came to your crib and spanked y'all. That's nuts. And he said good luck on Instagram, bro. Like, shout out to the Chiefs, Bills. You gotta lock in next year, man. Cause watch, kid you not. As soon as the season's over, the Bills are gonna be in the top 5 in the favorites next year. So badly the media wants them to win. If only you ever heard a quote? People see the potential in you before you see it in yourself. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. I mean, I heard that in church like a couple weeks ago. And I looked at my girl. I was like, "Yeah, that's a bar right there." Everyone sees the potential in the Bills. They all see it, but for some reason, the Bills can't see it in themselves and grasp for that ring. And I'm done.
So there's a lot I want to say. To that last point, bear with me when I say this. They are just a more experienced Chargers team.
Facts.
In terms of you see potential before they see themselves, you want them to be so good. Every year you want the Chargers to be good. You have Justin Herbert, but then something happens. Coaching happens. Missed kicks happens. Where you bust your ass. And for those who are unfamiliar with what Ryan Clark said, Ryan Clark basically put not the blame on Josh Allen, but said, hey, if you are getting paid this amount of money, you are expected to get it done. We don't blame you for losing, but the greats are the reason why you win. I paraphrase there. You're probably going to find the actual clip, but I said what I had to say with that. You're regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the game. You don't have to pull it up, Shabazz. You don't have to pull it up. You don't have to pull it up.
You sure? It's a minute.
Sure. All right, if you're already going to do it, fine. I can't stop you. You're regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the game. You were at home. Because all the times it was talking, oh, dude, there's so much more. Josh Allen gets propped up in a loss versus Patrick Mahomes. Then Joe Burrow got in a win.
Yeah, that 13-second game, right?
Yeah. 13 seconds. And then overtime. His defense sold the bag. There was nothing else that Josh Allen could have done. That's fair. But he still lost. Remember earlier in the show, I said Brock Purdy was ass for 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, turn it off. It's the inverse of what Josh Allen was. Josh Allen for the first 3 quarters, as I said, go band with Patrick Mahomes. At some point was outplaying Patrick Mahomes. With his ability to run and pass, and people was getting open and all that stuff like that. Questionable behind the line of scrimmage throw, which wasn't really, but we'll talk that here and there. Coaching, Sean McDermott, I told my Bills friend this earlier. I said he should be fired, not because he's a bad coach, but because It's like I could equate this to the Mark Jackson with the Warriors. Mark Jackson is a good coach. Was a good coach for Steph Curry. Helped with his development. Helped him make sure he's a good player. Him, Klay Thompson, got basically drafted that team, but they couldn't win. You leave. They fire him. Bring in Steve Kerr, a guy who's won at the highest level in terms of a player. And boom, everything, as they say, the rest is history. Sean McDermott is not a bad coach. He's helped with Josh Allen's development. He's helped him become who Josh Allen is. But at some point, you need a new voice in the room. At some point, you need a guy who actually knows what's going on and how to win. Has Sean McDermott actually won anything? He's won divisional playoff games. Cool. And you've also lost to Patrick Mahomes, which is no shame in losing to Patrick Mahomes. I got his jersey. He's my favorite quarterback right now. Cool. Great. But at the same time, when you have the chance to knock them out, and it's 2nd and 9, you have Diggs wide open on a drag route. I literally am watching the game with Corbin. I'm like, yo, you have the potential to end this game with no time remaining. But instead, you go for the deep shot. Then you go for another deep shot. Then you go for another deep shot. Now I'm going to talk about the Chiefs side because there's not much I can say. Travis Kelce popped up for the first time since like November in terms of scoring a touchdown. He hadn't scored a touchdown since like November. So it was good to see him get in the end zone twice. Mahomes is gonna be Mahomes. That's what's no gotta be expected. MVS and Rashee Rice, in terms of receiving duos, popping up and actually catching the ball, making good catches and contested catches. And then lastly, man, my favorite player on the Chiefs, not even Mahomes, man. Isaiah
Pacheco. Yo.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Bro, I drafted him in fantasy, and ever since then, that's been my guy. He reminds me so much of Derrick Henry, with just the ferociousness of not. Yes, he's not as big, he's not as fast, but man, he is going. Pacheco is a monster. He's exactly what Patrick Mahomes needed. He's exactly what he needed. He needed a thumper. He needed a guy who's going to fight for extra yards and make it happen. He had over 100 yards from scrimmage because that's what he does. And in terms of, we got to run the clock to ice the game. We need one first down to win the game. Let's get 8 yards on first down. That's just something, that consistent presence of Pacheco. And then you take him out the game, what happens? Mecole Hardman gets a screen, and then or a screen pass, shovel pass thing, and he fumbles out the end zone. So this still, again, it wasn't pretty and it wasn't perfect, but it did what it had to do. And as DJ Heartless, 2 years in a row, lost at home for Josh Allen.
You boys know,
bro. You don't. What's the point of regular season? To win games, as many games as possible, so you can have as close to home field advantage as possible. Baltimore took care of business. They won 13 games, got the 1 seed. Buffalo, you were dead in the water. You were 5-6. Routed off 6 straight. Won a division. And what do you get to show for it? Steelers team that was just battered and lucky to be there. And Tyler Bass missed 2 kicks last week too. So everyone is always going to be results oriented in this business. And this, as a fan, as a player, as pundits, we don't even get paid for this shit yet. So hopefully we do soon. Point is, people are results oriented. What did you do or what didn't you do? Did you win or did you lose? Yes, the 13-second game was amazing. But Josh Allen, yes, he had, Dan Orlovsky was right. Yeah, he had 50 total touchdowns. Cool. But didn't he also lead the league in turnovers? Next to Sam Howell, they had a lot of turnovers as well. So you have to take the good with the bad. We're not saying Josh Allen is a bad quarterback, but let the criticism be as loud as the blame, as a credit rather. If he won that game, oh my God. Firstly, Mahomes would have been fine. He'd be like, okay, I lost at home. It's fine. I lost by 3 possessions. He had nothing to lose.
He still got 2 MVPs, 2 chips. Like, he's big chilling, you know?
The more he wins, is literally just icing on the cake. But for Josh Allen, you probably would have got smoked anyway. Your defense sold you.
Yeah.
You would have probably got smoked by Baltimore. And now for the Chiefs side, that is something to be said for a team that was usually respected in terms of having all the weapons and defense. You know, we had the better defense and offense. Now on the playoffs, you want to flip the script. Right? You want to be a good offense, but a defense that can't stop the run to save their life. So Sunday is going to be a real interesting game for Chiefs Ravens. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. But we always do, like, in terms of, okay, what about the team that lost? How should they feel? Buffalo fans should feel devastated.
In shambles.
This dude's crying with, like, the shirt. They're about to have pneumonia at this point because they're bugging, being shirtless in the cold. They should feel devastated. They should be. Josh Allen, yes, he played not perfect, but fantastic football for 3 quarters. But you have a coach calling fake punts in your own side at like the 30-yard line of your own 30. You have receivers in Stephon Diggs who no longer can catch. Should it have been a better throw? Probably. But you get paid and you are regarded as one of the top 10 receivers, were regarded as top 10. I'd take a lot of players over him now. You're not, again, to echo and paraphrase Ryan Clark, we're not blaming you for the loss, Josh Allen. We're not. But the great ones find a way to get it done. And for all intents and purposes, if this was Lamar Jackson, the criticism would have been deafening. If this was Mahomes, earlier in the season, his receivers can't catch, his offensive line has most penalties in the league, all that extra stuff, Mahomes, you got to find a way to get it done. But now we want to baby a guy who wants to be considered one of the greats. But I ask, rhetorically, of course, what has he done? Has he been MVP? No. Has he taken his team to a Super Bowl? No. And again, to echo the comment, you had 2 games at home back-to-back years against the Bengals, and you didn't show up. Against the Chiefs at home, you don't show up when it matters most, in the 4th quarter. So
I got 2 things before we cap the show off. So Allen is 5-5 in the playoffs, right? His 5 wins have not an asterisk on them, but it definitely it's not as impressive.
I've seen it on Twitter.
Bro, he played Indy and Phillip Rivers last game. They won that. Barely won, but they still won that. Then they beat Baltimore, not because of Allen, because of a 101-yard pick 6, and Lamar had a concussion in the 3rd quarter. Then they lose to Kansas City. Then you beat New England. That's when he had 5 touchdowns and he spanked them. I give you that. That was a great game for him. Then he loses to Kansas City again, divisional round. Then you beat Miami. This was last year. He had 2 picks. You should have lost the game, but your defense, I guess, clutched up at the end. And then you lose to Cincinnati. And then you play Pittsburgh.
With no TJ Watt.
With no TJ Watt. Listen, your first game was a loss. So you lost, and then you win, and you win, and you got to the championship game the first time. You made a deep run, and that was it. Ever since then, ever since that first game, when he spanked y'all, it was like 34-20, I believe. Like Mahomes cooked y'all. Y'all have never been to a championship game since. Never ever since. So, and that's the first thing. And the second thing, we mentioned a lot about the Ryan Clark thing. I think it's fair we got to play it. So I'm gonna play it.
Defend Josh Allen. You don't have to defend him. Yeah. You can say straight up, Josh Allen is an absolute dude. Right. Josh Allen has shown up for this team when he's needed to, except for when he's needed to most. At some point, Josh Allen is going to have to beat the other great quarterbacks in the AFC. At some point, y'all gotta say he's coming up short. We don't say Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because he's the most talented. But in part, it's because he's the best when he needs to be the best. I'm not blaming the loss on Josh Allen. You know what the greats are? The reason the team wins. So and for Josh Allen, I don't care. It does not matter that he played well. What matters is that he's at his house. That's what matters. We want to come here and we want.
Man. Like, he came up short. What do you want me to say? And now, I kid you not, no matter if, let's say, out of 14, 49ers, Lions, whoever wins the Super Bowl, like, they won't be the favorites because it'll be Buffalo. I guarantee it. Josh Allen, you gotta get this ring, or at least get to a Super Bowl, my brother, or at least win an MVP. You gotta do something. But you got something to say
before you end? Sorry, I was gonna say, and this is actually a more apropos conversation for next time. Are the Bills the NFC version of the Cowboys? But that's a conversation for another day. That's a conversation
next week.
Hey, man, I do want to talk about Pro Bowl, and I want to have during the off season have content, not necessarily live shows, but we record videos and stuff like that. I know we
in there.
I do. There's a guy that I follow. BDG. There's a group. They do trivia and shit like that. They're awesome. I do want to have off season content as well. Roll out. But that's you get a peek behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you stay so long and so late with us. Again, divisional round in terms of just weekends, up there in terms of the best 2-day stretch of football. Yeah. There are 8 great teams typically make it, and all games were close for at some point in time. So they're awesome. Next week, tomorrow we discuss where legends are made. We'll talk about all the storylines. I'm pretty sure first things first, we'll do the who has the most to gain and all that extra stuff nonsense, which would be awesome to see, and we can react to that as well. Shabazz has been dealing with some stuff, so he might not be there, but we already know where he's going in terms of the AFC. NFC, we'll see. We'll talk about that. You know what I'm going with as well. Wait, maybe. No, you don't. I'm wearing a Mahomes jersey, but my twin brother is a Ravens fan. Am I a dirtbag? Potentially, but not this time. We'll talk about it tomorrow, 8:30 EST. Be there where we predict who is playing in Super Bowl 58 in Vegas. Woo! We'll predict it. We'll talk about who can win, why they should win, and as we always say, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend. Live your life with faith, family, football, and
vindication.